Hey, you guys, and welcome to American Culture. So, I'm going to give you a little backstory of where I am today. Obviously, I've been making things happen so that I can launch my little fashion line, but I'll talk about that in a second. You see, I went to the doctor today. I have to go to the cardiologist because I have out of control blood pressure and nobody knows what's causing it. Long story short, I started on this one particular medication a couple of months ago, and over time I just got sadder and sadder and didn't really want to go anywhere or do anything. And I declared that I was depressed, but I didn't know why. I just had a flat effect. Long story short, as a Christian, you think that it's spiritual warfare, all this other stuff's going on, but it happens after I prayed about it. God was like, it's a side effect. So I Googled it. Never in my wildest dreams would I thought like a side effect of a blood pressure medication could be depression, but it is. With that being said, I started to ask God, well, why did this happen? Because I had gone through other medications before and they didn't work. And he let me know it's because you're not supposed to be on medications. This is for his glory. And if I just do what he tells me to do, i.e. fasting, which is what I'm doing now, my blood pressure will lower. So hopefully in a couple of weeks, I'll have that testimony because I'm in the middle of doing that fast. With that being said, one thing that I recognized that got me out of it was getting up. I have had these hopes and these dreams and all sorts of stuff that I wanted to do that I kind of put on the back burner. Like I said, if you guys follow me, I didn't really get that much of an embrace when I was growing up. Nobody was really like, good job, or we're proud of you. And I had spent a lot of my life wanting the outside accolades or validation from other people. And so for the things that I was passionate about or I liked, it was almost never good enough. But not too long ago, maybe like a week or so, I was just so down. And I was like, no, let me get up and go do something that I love to do. And when I finally put up the wallpaper and started doing the painting that you see behind me, it's all over the room, I was happy. And I didn't need to show anybody or get an applause or anything. And for the first time in my life, I was like, this is good because it's good enough for me. You see, you guys, I learned that it was imperative that in this new promised land where you are loved here, it doesn't just start with self-love. There's another part of that. You've got to value things and value yourself and what God put into you. And I had to ask myself, what was really giving me joy was because by living out my passions and doing it, I was giving glory to the Lord. And so I started to appreciate these gifts and these talents that God had given me by way of actually living them out and bringing them to life, because that's what I'm supposed to do. You see, you guys, another part of me being sad was that working isn't going to do it. Again, I don't hate my job or anything like that, but for everything that I know I am and capable of, a 9-to-5 job just isn't going to make that happen. And no matter, again, all those needing outside accolades and validation, no matter how many times I spoke of this, people were like, but you have a good career. Like, people want a career. What's going on? And so when I got to this point, I was like, I can't do this whole going to work thing anymore. And finally, once I started doing this, God was like, you just do it and I'll take care. And I have great faith in that no outside witch or demon or anybody can put some type of spell or curse or try to make this not happen, because this is of God. It will work. And I know that that's going to be my testimony as I go along. Another thing that I noticed, you guys, was just how often we get stuck in not only our own patterns, but we get sucked into the patterns of other people. And the other day while I was journaling this, I started to write down, I'm no longer willing, because I have moved into a life where I am going to live nothing but God's will for me, whether I like it or not. Like I say right now, doing the whole fasting thing is, I'm not necessarily something that I want to do. But I am no longer willing to get wrapped up in my own patterns of negativity. For those of you out there, like I said, I mentioned the job thing earlier. How many times have you been like, I can't work at this job anymore. I don't want to do it. And you've gone to another job and for a few months it's great. And then you're like, I can't work at this job anymore. I don't want to do it. I found the same syndrome when I moved into this apartment. I really love it here, you guys. I'm very happy. But I started thinking to myself, maybe I should move or this or that, because I thought that would freshen things up. I didn't realize that this is not just me wanting outside things. This is a cycle that I'm in, and I have to end that in order to be content here. I've had friends, and I've noticed their outside cycles where I've had to say, listen, I would love to be around you, but I'm not going to put up with this negativity that you seem to go through every few months. Like I said the other day, I have a coworker, the same thing. I'm just not going to get wrapped up in other people's cycle of negativity, including my own. So those are the things that have majorly taken place. Like I said, I kind of shifted last week or a week or two ago into understanding or seeing that life is happening for me and not to me. And so when this sadness, as what I call it, started to take place, I was like, there's no way that I'm supposed to sit at home and be like boo-hoo crying and upset. Again, I look around, I don't really have a depressing existence. I'm not under pressure, certainly the way that I was. And so to really be able to see how I had gone through so many different medications to get to this one, the only one that really actually lowers my blood pressure, makes me this way. But it was an emptying out of all this attachment to the world that I had. I thought I had done it relatively well, and I'm not gonna, discount myself, and I am gonna give me credit for removing myself from needing so much of the outside world to satisfy me. But God let me know I wasn't going to be fulfilled until I started living purposefully the way that he wants me to. So I've already kicked my butt into gear with being consistent. You guys can see this behind you. I have clothes that I've made that I'm going to put against all these different backgrounds. I'll show you guys just for a brief moment. All these different backgrounds and stuff that I have in here to go with my outfits and whatnot. And I'm just going to make this line as if it exists and let God do what God does in it. So yeah, it's just me noticing God's hand in everything and getting on board with his will as to why I'm going through these different circumstances. Like I say, a lot of the suffering that we do is on us because we don't open up and acknowledge I'm vulnerable in this situation. God, come in and help me. And we sit there and we go through the motions of what the outside is doing to us. No more. So in short, I'm starting my fashion line. I'm doing what God wants me to do. Passion matters. It is value, and I appreciate it. And I'm no longer going to be stuck in my own patterns of negativity or allow myself to get wrapped up in anybody else's. Have a blessed day, you guys.